Hey guys, it's Greg Atkinson from Worship Impressions and the First Impressions Conference. I am so excited to be speaking to you guys today at the Church Marketing Conference. I have huge respect for my friend Ryan Wakefield and the team at CMU, and I think they're just knocking it out of the park. I have tried to help share and promote, whether I'm speaking or not. I've tried to point people to CMU for the last several years and their resources. I think they are so valuable. I want to encourage you to check them out. I use them and I share them with peers and just think the world of them. And so I love the concept of this conference. I love the theme and I love the idea. And I want to talk to you about a year-round commitment to excellence and growth. Excellence and growth year-round. And so I'm going to share some thoughts that I've kind of put together and just take you through kind of my stream of thought of how I lead my team and how I encourage others to lead their team on a year-round basis. And so right now, I want to say many of you know me from, I wrote a book called Secrets of a Secret Shopper. I have a new book out, but this is the one that I'm most known for, where I teach you to be your own secret shopper. And what I've been telling people recently is this is the season that we're in right now with this COVID, post-quarantine church world. People are going to be coming back to your church after months of being away. And so they're going to kind of have the same eyes and nose that I do when I go into a church for the first time as a secret shopper. They're going to see things differently because it's been months since they've been there. Some of your churches are back meeting in person, but even for those churches, only 30% have come back. 70% still have not come back. And then for some of you, you're going to gather together in 2021, and that's fine as well. But when your people finally do come back, they're going to be functioning kind of like a super sensitive secret shopper. And so what I want to encourage you to do to prepare for that is to, if you haven't already, you can easily get a copy on Kindle or a paperback book or read some of the articles I've put online, but to think like a secret shopper and to look at your campus and your facility, whether you meet in a portable location, a school, a theater, or whether you meet at an actual church facility and building. I want you to look at your campus through new eyes. Maybe you personally haven't been there in a while, or maybe you're coming into the office every day and you never lost that, that experience that so many of your people are going to lose. But I want to encourage you to look at your church, your parking lot, your entrance, your carpet, your restrooms, everything through the eyes of a secret shopper. And so people are coming back to your building not only with new eyes but with new noses. They're gonna notice every smell. If you have not used your restrooms in months, you need to go in there and mop and clean them up, clean the drains, because there hasn't been regular flushing going on like normal, and so there's going to be a smell that's there. You want to establish cleaning protocols where people come behind each service, in between services, and clean the pews and the chairs and the doors and the surfaces, and anything that people may use to check in or to touch something. You want to have new protocols established as you get together and meet. And so those are just some thoughts for free off the top of my head. For those of you that are in this season right now, this fall, planning to reopen the church space or re-entry, a lot of people are calling it. But let's dive into the yearly calendar and tell you how I look at it and how I think about it as a pastor and as a consultant. To stay on top of your game and to lead your team well, you must constantly communicate the why. Simon Sinek, one of the most famous TED Talks of all time, says people will do almost any what if they know their why. So as we train our volunteers, as we equip our teams, we must constantly communicate the why. It's not enough to say, hey, stand here at this door and hold it open to a greeter. You have to explain why it matters when we open the doors, why it matters in this COVID season when we create a touchless experience and nobody has to touch a door or a surface. Why does that matter? Always start with the why. And then when it comes to training and to systems and to processes, always begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to end up? Where do you want to go? Where are you leading your people, your team, your congregation to? And who do you want to reach? And what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to experience? I talk a lot about the church guest experience. What do you want your guests, your visitors, and I don't like that word visitors, but I'm just saying it so you know what I'm talking about. What do you want your guests to feel and to experience? And so if I'm starting through the church calendar, in January, it's a new year. It's a new year. So I want to start fresh. New eyes, new system. I want to work on processes. I want to think through, is it time to change our first time guest gift? Should we do something digital? Should we do something tangible? Should we do something that is maybe a gift made in their name where we support a local charity or a nonprofit? Is there something else that we should do? Should we bake them cookies? You know, what do we want to do as a gift, and think through our systems and our processes? How do we follow up with people? Do we have some kind of texting solution? Do we make phone calls? Do we send out letters, emails? Let's think through all that in the new year. And because there's something about New Year's resolutions. When 2021 comes around, we're going to be thinking kind of like, all right, if I were to start over and build it all again, how would I do it? And so get into that mindset of the new year. In February, I'll be speaking at the Engage conference from our friends at Texton Church. That's a great training opportunity for you to build into your team and to learn more about guest follow-up and retention and in preparation for Easter as you attend the Engage conference in February and work on your systems and processes in February and March. Let's prepare for the biggest Sunday of the year. Let's prepare for Easter. And let's think through things like a secret shopper and try to have the best experience from the street to the seat, parking lot to the pew. Let's have the best experience possible that we can. Think through every aspect of the guest experience. Make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. What happens once they get past the parking team, past the greeters, past the ushers, and they sit down in the congregation? Is there somebody there to talk to them? Do you have section hosts? Have you encouraged people in your congregation to reach out to people they don't know and to introduce themselves? And so make sure nobody falls through the cracks. Going into the spring, when I think of May, I think of Mother's Day, third biggest Sunday of the year. And I did a webinar a couple years ago with Ryan Wakefield from Church Marketing University, and he was talking about how to have a successful Easter. And he said, on Easter, plant the seed for Mother's Day and think in terms of the next big event and get people coming back for Mother's Day. And what are you doing to prepare your church and your congregation for a great Mother's Day? And so we'll be in a different world in Mother's Day 2021. Hopefully this COVID season is behind us. Maybe we have a vaccine and we're in a different space, and it could be a huge day for your congregation. And I learned the importance of that from Ryan Wakefield and from Rick Warren. Rick Warren has talked about that for years. June, July, and August. In the summer, I like to do a lot of training with my volunteers. And that for me is when I'm the busiest. As a consultant, as a secret shopper, I travel a lot in the summer. Churches bring me in. They're working on their systems and their processes, and they're training their volunteers to get ready for the fall. A lot of people, for whatever reason, come back to church in the fall. Attendance kind of dwindles in the summer. There's vacations and school's out and all of that. We know how summer goes. But as we prepare for the fall, let's train our volunteers. Let's do some leadership development. Let's do some vision casting. In September, here we are, Church Marketing Conference. This is something that you can do to train your team and to prepare your staff. Last year, this time, last September, I was at First Baptist Orlando, and I was training 200 volunteers, and I did a secret shopper there, and I worked with their lay leadership, and I invested in their lay leaders that oversee guest services, and I trained all 200 of their volunteers of ushers and greeters and parking team. And so a lot of people are investing in their teams throughout summer and fall. You want to have a year-round mentality, a year-round commitment to excellence and growth. Going into late fall this year, November, do not miss this. We have our 4th First Impressions Conference. First Impressions Conference is coming at you again for the 4th time, our biggest event ever. 122 speakers. Amazing keynote speakers. We're going to hear from Rick Warren and Bob Goff and Mark Batterson and Carrie Nieuwhof and Nona Jones and Ryan Wakefield and Will Mancini and Tim Stevens and Tyler Smith from Texan Church and Kenny Jang and all these people, Katie Allred. We're going to hear from some incredible speakers. You do not want to miss this. But when I'm thinking about year-round training and year-round excellence and year-round leadership development, I want to show this conference to all of my team and all of our volunteers. One of the things we do with the First Impressions Conference is one pass, one registration, one ticket covers your whole church. Whether you have 100 volunteers or 10, all of you can watch the conference for one registration. And so this is something I would do to invest in my team and to get them ready. And what's important about November is we are gearing up towards, that's right, Christmas. December is a big month for the church as a whole. Christmas services, Christmas Eve. Tons of churches have the most guests they ever have at a Christmas Eve candlelight service. And so as you get ready for that great outreach opportunity, you're going to have lots of first-time guests. Every church, I say this all the time, every Sunday is somebody's first Sunday. However, you're going to have more than ever on Christmas and Easter and Mother's Day. You also will find that you have more guests than usual when you do baptism, because that's when the grandparents come out, and that's when the cousins come out, and that's when the uncles and aunts and the friends and the neighbors, and so the community comes out. Baptism are big Sundays, and so capitalize on that and think strategically about how you do your baptisms. Rick Warren has said for years that churches grow and take leaps forward with big events like Christmas and Easter and Mother's Day. And so this conference, what I love about this conference that Ryan and his team have put together is they help you think in terms of the year for planning. There are people, and I'm just doing a really quick overview, but there are people throughout this conference that are going to be diving into each and every month and helping you think in terms of how to plan strategically. One of my favorite words, and intentionally, my favorite word, intentionally throughout the year. And so I love this resource. I love this idea of this conference. I want to encourage you to equip and encourage your team year round, all throughout the year. Andy Stanley has said for a long time that vision leaks. That's how we motivate people. That's how we lead people. That's how we move in the same direction, is through vision, and vision leaks. So we have to constantly remind people why we do what we do. Simon Sinek, the power of the why. People will do almost any what if they know their why. And so leadership development must be a year-round commitment, and it comes with some serious intentionality. And so I want to encourage you. You can do it. I believe in you. Think strategically, think long-term, think in terms of seasons and years. The theme of this year's First Impressions Conference is navigating a new season. Think in terms of seasons and semesters and quarters and years and big events like Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, and then creative things you can do in the summer to boost attendance. You can do it. Think holistically, think long-term. I'm proud of you, and I wish you well, and I'm honored to be a part of this conference. Thank you.